Hi, I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're learning about adding and subtracting polynomials. Simplify each expression. So, if I was given this expression.
Minute Math, when you need help you use Minute Math.
5 plus 5n to the third minus 1 minus 3n to the third. Okay? Well, first thing I like to do is I'm going to distribute this minus sign to the second parenthesis. Okay? There's nothing within each parenthesis that we can simplify, so we can rewrite this now as 5 plus 5 n to the third. Now when we distribute the minus sign, we have a minus of 1, and then the minus again to a minus 3n makes that a positive 3n to the third. Okay? So now we're going to combine our like terms. Okay, we see we have an n to the third and an n to the third right there. So a 5n to the third and a 3n to the third, we add those together, that's our highest degree. That's going to be an 8n to the third right there. Okay, now we have 5 and a 1, so 5 minus 1 is a 4, and we have a plus 4 here, and there we have it. Our final answer, 8n to the third plus 4. 6a minus 3a squared plus 2a squared minus 3a. Okay. Well, within each parenthesis, I don't see anything that I can simplify. Okay. Now, normally, we have the plus sign here, right? There's nothing really needing for these parentheses. Since there's nothing to simplify within it, we don't need them anymore. So I can rewrite this to be 6a minus 3a squared plus 2a squared minus 3a. So now we want to combine our like terms, okay, like terms, and highest degree first. So we have an a squared, and I see that as my highest degree. A squared, 3a squared, and 2a squared, well, that's a minus 3a squared, right? So a minus 3a squared plus a 2a squared is a minus 1a squared. And remember, we don't need to always write the 1 out in front. We just know it's going to be there. So it's just minus a squared. Now we have a 6a and a 3a, but we're minus 3a. So 6a minus a 3a is plus a positive 3a. And there we have it. Our final answer, negative a squared plus 3a. X squared minus x plus 8x minus 2x squared. Okay? Well, one thing I want to do is first, within each parenthesis, is there anything I can simplify? The answer is no. Okay? There's nothing within each I can simplify. With addition here, the parentheses are not needed. So I can rewrite this to be x squared minus x plus 8x minus 2x squared. Now I want to combine my like terms. Well, my highest degree is x squared. I got two of them, right here and right there. Okay? Well, x squared minus a 2x squared is a negative, or just minus x squared. So make sure I got both of these down. We have minus 1x squared. Okay? Now we have to deal with the x's. We have a minus x and an 8x. Well, minus x plus 8x is a 7x. So we have plus a 7x, and there we have it. Our final answer, minus x squared plus 7x. 2a squared plus 4a to the third minus, second parenthesis, 3a to the third plus 8. Well, I see my subtraction sign here in between the two. I know I'm going to have to distribute. I always check to make sure that there's no like terms within each parenthesis that I can simplify, and there's not. So the right or left part here, 2a squared plus 4a to the third, we can just rewrite. The minus sign, I need to distribute that within my parenthesis. Minus to the 3a squared is a minus 3, oh, not squared, to the third power, 3a to the third. Minus again over, and we have a minus 8 right there. Okay? So now we want to combine our like terms. terms. I see we have a to the third, and that's our highest degree, so let's deal with that first. We have 4a to the third and a minus 3a to the third. Together, 4 minus 3 is 1, so we just have a to the third, or 1a to the third. We have the a squares as the next. There's only one of them, so always bring that down. And I like to put a little dot under each one as I work with it to make sure I bring everything down. We have plus 2a squared here. And then lastly, we just have the minus 8. Minus 8 comes down, and there we have it. Our final answer, a to the third plus 2a squared minus 8. 5x squared plus 4 minus 5 plus 5x to the third power. Okay? Well, first thing, I look in within each parenthesis. There's nothing I can simplify, but I always check that. Now I have a minus sign in between these two parentheses, so I have to distribute that. The 5x squared plus 4 just comes down, but this minus sign we need to distribute. Now this plus 5 becomes a minus 5. Make sure we go to both parts, and we have a minus 5x to the third here. Okay? So now it's time to combine our like terms, and I start with the highest degree and write that first. Highest degree is to the third power, x to the third power. There's nothing else, no other x to the third power, so I'm just going to rewrite that out here. Minus 5x to the third, and I put a dot underneath to show that I brought it down. Next thing is x squared. There's only one of them there, so that's pretty easy, a positive 5x squared. Okay? And the next lowest I see, there's no x's, so it's just numbers, 4 and 5. Well, we need to combine the two. 4 minus 5 is a negative 1, or minus 1, and we have minus 1 here. And there we have it. Our final answer, minus 5x to the third plus 5x squared minus 1. 8n squared minus 2n to the third plus 6n to the third minus 8n squared. Okay? So now let's simplify this. Well, within each parenthesis, there's nothing that's a like term, so I can't simplify within the parenthesis. We have a plus sign in between, and really, that doesn't change anything within the parentheses. So what I can do now is rewrite this without the parentheses. 8n squared minus 2n to the third plus 6n to the third minus 8n squared. Now I want to combine my like terms. I start with the highest degree though. I have a minus 2n to the third and a positive 6n to the third. The third power is my highest degree. Minus 2n to the third plus 6n to the third, look at the coefficients, is a 4n to the third. Now I put two dots underneath these two to show that I've used them. Next highest degree is squared. We have an 8n squared minus 8n squared, and if we know, that cancels out. That's going to be a 0, right? 8n squared minus 8n squared is 0. Don't need to write a 0 down, and so our final answer here is 4n to the third power. 8b to the third plus 8 minus, another parenthesis, 6 minus 7b to the third power. Okay? Well, within each parenthesis, there's no like terms, so there's nothing to simplify within each parenthesis. I then look at this minus sign, and I'm going to distribute that. So in front of it, 8b to the third plus 8 can just come down. We distribute the minus sign, and we have a minus 6, and make sure we go to both parts here, and we have a double negative. That's a positive. So we have a positive 7b to the third. Now we just have to combine our like terms. Our highest degree comes first, and that's b to the third power. We have 8b to the third power plus 7b to the third power. That comes out to be a 15b to the third power. Put dots underneath to show that we brought them down. 8 minus 6 is a 2, and so we have plus 2 here, and now we've brought everything down. So our final answer, 15b to the third power plus 2. 4x to the third minus 6 plus 5x to the third plus 3. All right? Well, first I look within each parenthesis. Since there are no like terms within each parenthesis, there's nothing I can combine within each one. There's a plus sign out front, or in between, sorry, these two parentheses. And so what that kind of tells me is I don't really need the parentheses per se. So I'm going to rewrite this without the parentheses. 4x to the third minus 6 plus 5x to the third plus 3. Okay? Now I want to combine my like terms. My highest power, or highest degree, is the third power, right? X to the fourth, or x to the third, and x to the third. So let's combine the two. 4x to the third plus 5x to the third is a 9x to the third. Excuse me, put dots underneath to show that we've brought that part down. Now we have a minus 6 plus 3, which comes out to be a minus 3 when we add them together. And there we have it. Our final answer, 9x to the third minus 3. 10p to the fourth power plus 11 minus, second parenthesis, 11p to the fourth plus 13 plus 16p squared. Okay? So first thing, I look within each parenthesis. Is there anything I can simplify within it? And the answer is no. So now we need to distribute this minus sign to the second parenthesis. Bring down the 10p to the fourth plus 11, and now let's look at the distributing the minus sign. Minus 11p to the fourth here, bring it over to the 13, minus 13, and bring it all the way over to the end, and we have a minus 16p squared. Not too difficult, all right? So now we want to combine our like terms, and let's start with the highest degree. Highest power I see is to the fourth power. So we have 10p to the fourth and minus 11p to the fourth. That becomes a minus 1p to the fourth, and you don't need the 1, the coefficient there. Okay? I put dots underneath to show that I've brought that term down so I don't forget anything. Next highest degree that I see is just the p squared. Okay? So we bring down the minus 16p squared here. And now we're left with just our numbers, 11 and a minus 13. 11 minus 13 is a minus 2. And there we have it. Our final answer, minus p to the fourth power minus 16p squared minus 2. 20 v squared minus 9 v to the third power minus 7 v to the third minus 10 v to the fourth minus 14 v squared. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, so first I look within each parenthesis. Okay. There's no like terms within each one, so there's nothing that I can combine. Now we have to distribute this minus sign. Okay. So let's bring down the left parenthesis, 20 v squared, and at this point I don't need the parenthesis. Minus 9v to the third. Let's distribute the minus sign. We have a minus 7v to the third here, and then a minus and a minus become a positive. So we have a positive 10v to the fourth, and we do it again to the last minus sign, which becomes a positive 14v squared. All right, so now what I want to do is combine my like terms and start with my highest degree. Highest power I see is v to the fourth power. All right, there's only one of them. So we take that 10 v to the fourth and bring it down. I want to put to the third to the fourth power here. Okay. Now, next highest degree that I see is to the third power. We have a minus 9v to the third and a minus 7v to the third power. Combine those two together, and it's a minus 16v to the third, and again put dots to show that we brought that down. Next highest degree is a v squared, and there's two of them. We have 20v squared and 14v squared, which is a 34v squared. And there we have it. Our final answer, 10v to the fourth minus 16v to the third plus 34v squared. 10x to the fourth minus 16 plus, second parenthesis, 12 minus 6x to the third plus 11x to the fourth. All right? Well, I first look within each parenthesis and see if there's anything that I can simplify. There's not. So now we need to bring it all together. The plus sign out front really doesn't change anything between these two parentheses. So now we can move down without them. 10x to the fourth minus 16 plus a 12 minus 6x to the third plus 11x to the fourth. I want to combine my like terms. My highest degree that I see here is to the fourth power. So we have a 10x to the fourth and 11x to the fourth. Combine the two, and we have a 21x to the fourth. The next highest degree that I see is x to the third. There's nothing else that's x to the third, so we can just bring that down. Minus 6. Whoops. Let's put 16 there. A 6x to the third. And I put dots to show which ones I've brought down. Minus 16 plus 12 combines to be a minus 4. So a minus 4 here. Again, my dots, and there we have it. My final answer, 21x to the fourth minus 6x to the third minus 4. 14 plus a 12, a to the third, plus, next parenthesis, 17, a to the fourth, plus a 15, minus 5, a to the third. Okay? So where do we go from here? Within each parenthesis, I first check, is there anything that I can simplify? There's not. So now I just actually move down. Since it's just a plus sign there, we don't really need our parentheses anymore. So 14 plus a 12, a to the third, plus 17, a to the fourth, plus 15, minus 5, a to the third. Now I want to combine my like terms. My highest degree comes first, and that's a to the fourth. So there's only one of them, which is 17, a to the fourth. So that comes first. 17, a to the fourth, right there. I put a dot to show that I've brought it down. Next highest degree I see is to the third power. We have a 12a to the third and a minus of 5a to the third. That comes out to be a 7a to the third. So we have positive 7a to the third. Okay? And put dots there again. Lastly, I just have regular numbers, 14 and a 15. We add them together to be 29. Again, dots to show I brought it down. And now we have everything brought down. So my final answer is 17a to the fourth plus 7a to the third plus 29. 17v squared minus 8 plus 17v squared plus a 10 plus a v to the third power. All right? So first thing, within each parenthesis, is there anything I can simplify? No, there's no like terms there. The plus sign, there's no point in really distributing the plus sign because it won't change anything. So we can get rid of the parentheses and rewrite our expression. 17v squared minus 8 plus 17v squared plus a 10 plus a v to the third power. Now my highest degree I see is the third power, v to the third. It's the only one here to the third power, so let's put a dot underneath it to show that we're using it in the next line, and we write this v to the third power here. Combining our like terms still, v squared is our next degree. We have two of them, 17v squared and a 17v squared. They combine together to be a 34v squared. All right? Now, moving on, our next highest degrees we see are just the numbers. We have a minus 8 plus a 10, which comes to be a positive 2. Again, dots to bring them down, and that's it. We brought everything down. Our final answer, v to the third plus 34v squared plus 2. 20 and plus 11 n to the fourth minus 15 n plus a 16 n squared minus a 17 n to the fourth. Okay? Well, first thing, I look within each parenthesis. Is there anything that I can simplify? And the answer is no. There's no like terms within each parenthesis. I then want to distribute this minus sign right here. So let's bring down the first parenthesis, 20n plus 11n to the fourth. And now let's distribute the second, the minus sign. Minus 15n minus 16n squared. And lastly, double negative becomes a positive. A minus minus is a positive, 17n to the fourth. So now let's combine our like terms. Let's start with the highest degree. We have 11n to the fourth and 17n to the fourth. N to the fourth is the highest degree that I see. Put a little dot underneath each one here to show that I'm combining it and bringing it down. And 11n to the fourth plus 17n to the fourth is 28n to the fourth. Next highest degree that I see is an n squared. There's just one of them, and it's a minus 16n squared, okay, or one term of it. Lastly, I only see n's, right? N to the first power. We have a 20n minus a 15n, which is a 5n. Bring those down, put our dots there, and that's it. Our final answer here is 28n to the fourth minus 16n squared plus 5n. 10 k to the fourth plus a 17 k to the third minus 14 k to the third minus 2k plus a 9k to the fourth power. Okay? Now within each parenthesis, there's nothing that I can simplify. I always check for that first. There's no like terms there. So I want to now distribute this minus sign. Bring down the first parenthesis, 10k to the fourth, but we don't need the parenthesis anymore, plus 17k to the third. And now let's distribute the minus sign. Over here, minus 14k to the third. The minus sign goes again over here, but that's a double negative, so that's a positive, plus a 2k. And again, minus sign over, but now a minus a 9k to the fourth. So now I want to combine my like terms. Start with the highest degree. Highest degree I see is k to the fourth power. We have two of them, 10k to the fourth minus a 9k to the fourth. 10 minus 9 is 1. Don't need to write that 1 coefficient, so we just have k to the fourth power here. Next highest degree here I see is to the third power. We have 17k to the third minus a 14k to the third. Dot goes underneath it, and 17 minus 14 is a 3. So we have plus a 3k to the third power here. Lastly, I just see a 2k. 2k is by itself. Bring that down. 2k here. And there we have it. Our final answer here is k to the fourth plus 3k to the third plus 2k. 9r plus 6r to the fourth plus a 12r minus a 2r to the fourth power minus 17. Again, first thing I look at is within each parenthesis. Are there any like terms? No, so there's nothing to combine and simplify. Alright? Since we just have a plus sign, if I distributed that plus sign to this parenthesis, it doesn't really change anything. So now I can rewrite everything without the parentheses. 9r plus 6r to the fourth plus a 12r minus a 2r to the fourth minus 17. So now I want to combine my like terms. My highest degree is to the fourth power, so 6r to the fourth minus 2r to the fourth. Combine those two and we have a 4r to the fourth power. I put dots underneath to show that I've brought those down. Next highest degree that I see is just the r's. We have a 9r and a 12r, and that together becomes a 21r. Lastly, we just have the 17, or minus 17. Bring that down, minus 17, and there we have it. Our final answer, 4r to the 4th plus 21r minus 17. 6r plus 2 plus an 8r to the 3rd minus, second parenthesis, 5r to the 3rd minus 11 minus 8r to the 5th power minus my last parenthesis, 6r plus 9r to the 5th. Okay? Well, first thing, I look within each parenthesis. Are there any like terms? No, so there's nothing to combine there. Next thing, I want to distribute my minus signs to their corresponding parentheses. First one doesn't have any, so we have 6r plus 2 plus 8r to the 3rd just comes down. This minus sign gets distributed, and we have minus 5r to the 3rd. Minus times a minus is a positive, so we have plus 11. And over to the last one, minus times a minus, or negative times a negative is a positive. And we have an 8r to the 5th. Same thing with the last parenthesis. We have a minus 6r here, and then a minus 9r to the 5th. So now I look, we have a pretty large one, so we take our time here. I look for my highest degree. We want to combine our like terms. My highest degree that I see is to the 5th power. I have 8r to the 5th and 9r to the 5th. And that's a minus 9r to the 5th. Put dots underneath to show that I'm using them, and 8r to the 5th minus 9r to the 5th is a 1, or minus 1, minus 1r to the 5th power. And the dots are great to show which ones I've brought down to make sure I didn't forget anything. Now, next highest degree that I see is just to the 3rd power. We have 8r to the 3rd minus 5r to the 3rd, which is a 3r to the 3rd power. Next thing I see is just r's by itself. 6r minus a 6r cancels each other out, and that's just 0, and no sense in writing a plus 0 here. Okay? Lastly, we just have our numbers, 2 and 11. 2 plus 11 is 13. And we've brought everything down, and our final answer is minus r to the 5th plus 3r to the 3rd plus 13. 9, a to the 4th, plus 1 minus 11, a squared, next parenthesis, minus a plus 8, a squared, plus 2, and then minus, last parenthesis, 6a squared minus 9. All right? Well, within each parenthesis, I do not see anything that I can combine, no like terms. So now I want to distribute my minus signs to their corresponding parentheses. First one doesn't have any, so we just write that down. 9a to the 4th plus 1 minus 11a squared. Okay? And this marker's done, so we'll just grab a new one. Okay? And halfway through, of course, I don't have any more oranges, so let's go with blue. Okay? Well, distribute the minus sign across here. We have minus an a, and that's much better. And then the minus sign goes across here with minus 8a squared. Comment section below if you think the blue looks a lot better. All right? Or let me know there. Minus sign goes to the last part. Minus times 2 is a minus 2. Here, again, another minus sign. Minus times 6a squared is a minus 6a squared. And minus times a minus 9 is a positive 9. Remember, negative times a negative is a positive. So now I want to combine my like terms, and let's start with our highest degree here. Highest degree is 9a to the 4th power, the 4th power there. I put a dot underneath to show that I'm going to bring it down. I don't see anything else to the 4th power, so it just comes down here. 9a to the 4th. Okay? Next highest degree I see here is a squared, and we have 3 of them, right? We have 11a squared, 8a squared, and 6a squared. Okay? Well, if we combine a minus 11a squared minus 8a squared is a minus 19a squared. We add another minus 6a squared to that, and we have a minus 25a squared. So we have a minus 25a squared right here. Let's put dots underneath to show that we've brought them down. Lastly, or not lastly, sorry, the next highest degree, I almost forgot, I see just an a. It's by itself. So we have minus an a here. We got that. Now we just have our numbers. We have a 1 minus a 2 plus a 9. 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. Negative 1 plus 9 is a positive 8. A positive 8 here, and there we have it. Our final answer, and make sure we put a dot to show we brought everything down, which we got there, is 9a to the 4th minus 25a squared minus a plus 8. 9k minus 9 minus 12k to the 4th minus 4k plus k to the 4th power plus 4 minus 10 plus 7k. Alright? Well, first thing, I look within each parenthesis. Is there anything I can combine, simplify? And the answer is no. From there, I then look and say, okay, I need to simplify what I can. I distribute the minus sign to both parentheses. So, first one just comes down, 9k minus 9 minus 12k to the 4th. Distribute the minus sign across. We have minus 4k here, then minus here, minus k to the 4th power. Then the last minus sign we distribute, and a minus 4. The second parenthesis we got to distribute. Minus times 10 is a minus 10. And the last one, a minus 7k here. Okay? So now, from here, what I want to do is combine my like terms. Start with my highest degrees, and I have a minus 12k to the 4th and a minus k to the 4th. Put dots underneath to show that I'm using them, and they combine to be a minus 13k to the 4th. Now the next highest degree here, well, is actually just k, right? Yep, just k's. I have a 9k minus a 4k and a 7k. 9k minus 4k is a 5k. Then 5k minus 7k is a minus 2k. Got all those combined. So now let's look at the last part, which is just our numbers. Minus 9, minus 4, and minus 10. Okay? Well, let's combine minus 4 and minus 10 is a minus 14, and then a minus 9 comes out to be a minus 23. So a minus 23 here, brought all of our numbers down, and there we have it. Our final answer is minus 13k to the 4th minus 2k minus 23. 8x to the 4th minus 12 plus 3x minus 9x to the 4th plus 7 minus 11x, and our last parenthesis plus 9x plus 8. I first look within each parenthesis. Is there anything that I can simplify? The answer is no. There's nothing that I can combine. So now I need to distribute my minus sign. 8x to the 4th minus 12 plus 3x just comes down. We distribute the minus sign. We have minus 9x to the 4th here. Distribute the minus again. Minus 7. And lastly, minus and a minus, or negative and negative, become a positive, plus 11x. Plus sign here, we just bring down the last parenthesis, 9x plus 8, but we don't need the parenthesis there. Now I want to combine my like terms. Start with my highest degree. Highest degree I see is to the 4th power. Got a dot there, dot there. I use a dot to show that I've used that term. And 8x to the 4th plus 9x to the 4th is a minus 1x to the 4th. Okay? Next highest degree I see is just an x. We got a 3x, 11x, and a 9x. 11x plus 9x is a 20x, plus 3 is 23x. So, dots again, we have plus a 23x. Next highest degree here I see is just our numbers. We have a minus 12, minus 7, and a positive 8. Well, minus 7 plus 8 comes out to be a positive 1, and minus 12 plus 1 is a minus 11. So we have minus 11 here, and there we have it. Everything was brought down. Our final answer, minus x to the 4th power plus 23x minus 11. 7r squared plus r to the 3rd minus 3 plus, next parenthesis, 6r to the 3rd minus 3r squared plus 10, the last parenthesis, plus 2 plus r squared. All right. Well, what I want to do now is I first look within each parenthesis. Is there anything that I can combine that's a like term to simplify? Within each parenthesis, the answer is no. But all of our parentheses are separated by a plus sign, which really means we don't need our parentheses anymore. Let's bring it down without it. 7r squared plus r to the 3rd minus 3 plus 6r to the 3rd minus 3r squared plus 10 plus 2 plus r squared. Now I want to combine my like terms. My highest degree I see is r to the 3rd power. And I see only 2 of them, one here and one here. And I put dots underneath to show that I've used that term, or I'm about to combine it here. 1r to the 3rd plus 6r to the 3rd is a 7r to the 3rd. Then from there, I look at the squared values. Well, with 7r squared minus 3r squared, that becomes a 4r squared plus 1r squared is a 5r squared plus 5r squared here. And lastly, we have our numbers. We have a minus 3, a 10, and a 2. Well, a minus 3 plus a 2 is a minus 1, plus a 10 is a positive 9. We have plus 9 here, and there we have it. Everything came down. Our final answer, 7r to the 3rd plus 5r squared plus 9. 10x plus 8x to the 5th minus 2 plus 12 plus x minus 6x to the 4th minus, lastly, x to the 4th minus x squared. All right? Well, first thing, I look within each parenthesis here. Is there anything that I can simplify? Nothing that I can see within each one that I can simplify, no combined terms. So we're done with that. I then am going to distribute the minus sign to the parentheses that need it. Okay? So the first one doesn't have anything. Let's bring it down. 10x plus 8x to the 5th minus 2. Then plus 12 plus x minus 6x to the 4th power. The last one we can distribute, minus x to the 4th, and double negative, minus times a minus is a positive, plus x squared. Be careful, that's probably one that's going to throw some of you off there. Okay? So now we want to combine our like terms. Okay? We start with our highest degree, and the highest one I see is to the 5th power. 8x to the 5th power. So write that down, and I'm going to put a dot there to show that I've brought it down. 8x to the 5th power. Next highest degree I see is to the 4th power, and we have 2 of them, minus 6x to the 4th and minus an x to the 4th. Combine the 2, and that comes out to be a minus 7x to the 4th. And again, don't forget your dots. Next highest degree that I see is just 1x squared. Bring that down, I'm going to x squared here. Next highest that I see is my x's, right? We have a 10x and a 1x. Combine the 2, and we have a plus 11x there. And lastly, we have our numbers. We have a minus 12 and minus 2 and a plus 12, and that's it. And that comes out to be a positive 10. And there we have it. We brought everything down. And our final answer here is 8x to the 5th minus 7x to the 4th plus x squared plus 11x plus 10. P to the 4th plus an 8p plus a 6 plus a 7p minus 3p to the 4th plus a 6 minus a 10 plus a 10p. Okay? Well, again, first thing I look is within each parenthesis, is there anything that I can simplify? There's nothing that I can combine, no like terms within each parenthesis, so no. From there, we distribute the minus sign to our last parenthesis. Everything else just comes down. P to the 4th plus 8p plus 6 plus 7p minus 3p to the 4th plus 6. Now we distribute the minus sign. A minus 10 and then a minus 10p here. Okay? So now we want to combine our like terms, and we want to start with our highest degree. Highest degree I see is to the 4th power. I'm going to put a dot under the ones with the 4th power, and so when I bring them down, I know I've already covered that term. P to the 4th minus 3p to the 4th is a minus 2p to the 4th. Now the next highest degree I see is just the p's. We have an 8p, a 7p, and a minus a 10p. Well, an 8p and a minus a 10p is a minus a 2p. Minus 2p plus 7p is a positive 5p. All right? Now we have just our numbers here. Well, that's the last one's left. We have 6 plus a 6 is a 12, minus 10 is a 2. So we have positive 2. Everything came down, checked our dots. We're good. Our final answer here is just minus 2p to the 4th plus 5p plus 2. It's a big one. 9n to the 5th plus 2n minus 11. Next parenthesis, minus 11n minus 7n to the 5th plus 3 minus my last parenthesis, 5 plus 7n. All right? Well, first thing, I look within each parenthesis. Are there any like terms that I can combine? The answer is no. There's no like terms here, so from there, I'm actually going to distribute the minus sign to each parenthesis. So we rewrite the first one, 9n to the 5th plus 2n minus 11, but now let's distribute. We have a minus 11n here. Minus times a minus is a positive, or negative times a negative is a positive, so we have plus 7n to the 5th. And now, don't forget that's a minus 3 over there. Last parenthesis, we do it again. Minus 5 here, and then a minus 7n. So, what I want to do now is, well, I want to combine my like terms and start with my highest degree. Highest degree I see is to the 5th power. 9n to the 5th and 7n to the 5th. I put a dot underneath it to show that I've used that so I don't forget any term here. 9n to the 5th plus 7n to the 5th is a 16n to the 5th power. Now the next highest degree I see is just a regular n. We have 2n minus 11n minus a 7n. Well, and that's it, yeah. Minus 11n minus a 7n is a minus an 18n. And if we add a 2n to that, it's a minus 16n. Okay? Got that down. Lastly, we just have our numbers. We have minus 11, minus 3, and minus 5. Well, minus 3 and minus 5 become a minus 8, plus minus 11 is a minus 19. Every term has now come down. We double check. So again, our final answer here is 16n to the 5th minus 16n minus 19.
Minute math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.